What I'm trying to help people experience is confidence and identity. I think there is a big misconception out there that fashion is very surface level and
Mm,
fashion is very much like you're conceited or whatever it is. But fashion has a way of giving you confidence. You can walk into each room confidently, and it is a sense of identity as well.
You know what? We about to take off. Yeah, you know what? We about to take off.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Before We Take Off. As always, I am your host, Mufar, and today I am joined by Martha Mtombo, the founder of Ukholo Styling, a brand built around clarity, confidence, and calling. Martha's work goes beyond simply putting outfits together, though. She helps people understand how they want to show up in the world, whether that's through their wardrobe, their home, or meaningful life moments. Martha, welcome to the show and welcome to the Launchpad.
Thank you so much. Wow, that's better than anything I could have ever said about myself.
Hey, you know what? I've been perfecting these intros. I'm going to start selling them at this.
No, I love it. Thank you for the invite and for having me on your show.
Of course, thank you for spending time with us. How are you doing? How's everything?
I'm good. I'm good. Just living life, taking it one day at a time and trying to, build this thing that we're doing here in Melbourne and just trying to
Yeah.
build something with legacy like we all are, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's all we're trying to do. You're absolutely right. But before we get into all of that legacy building that you're up to, I want to start from the beginning. So tell us, what is your story? Who is Martha?
Who is Martha? Wow. Where do I even begin? I think I'll just maybe start from everything that relates to what got me here. I think as a child, I always loved fashion. I always loved dressing up. I was always the different one. Sometimes I would get made fun of for being so different because it's like, why are you dressed like this? It's just going to a park, but I would always be doing like the most. So I always just loved, I always just loved just expressing myself through fashion. And I always saw that as, I don't know, it was just so much fun for me. And my mom was actually somebody who made clothes. So she actually studied fashion and she made clothes for us when we were kids. So when I was growing up, she passed away when I was really young. And it was only in the last couple of years when I was thinking about where my love for this all came from. When you start to like, and I was like, oh my gosh, like my mom made clothes for me when I was really young. That's what she did. And I loved just sitting and watching her on the sewing machine designing, making clothes, all that kind of stuff. So I think that's where the love for it came from and the passion for it. Like, obviously, as an African immigrant child growing up in Australia,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah,
the creative stuff is not really supported as much. I think our parents are growing and evolving, but I think when we first moved, it was focus on your studies. So I actually did all sciences and maths and whatever in school, nothing creative.
yeah,
And every time I would try to do something creative, it was like, no, 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 no. You need to, be a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer.
yeah.
You gotta be one of those three. Otherwise, what are you doing with your life? Um,
That's it. The big three.
with the big three, exactly. So throughout school, I think I focused on my studies and I wasn't really creative. I wasn't using my creativity. It was just through my clothes that I would find ways to be creative. And it was not until I actually started working at Maya when I was in uni. I started working where in the homewares department, like nothing to do with clothes. But then after I think a year or two, the store manager approached me and she was like, everyone has to wear black as the uniform, but the way that you wear your black is very different to everyone else. So would you like to join the visual merchandising department? And I said, sure. I don't even know.
Okay, trendsetter.
I don't know what that is. I don't know what you guys even do there, but sure. And a lot of people usually like study a diploma or something like that to actually get into visual merchandising. But I was just offered the job because of how I showed up to work every shift that I had. So yeah, I learned on the job, and I think that's just been my story. Like I just start doing it without knowing, and then I just always just learn on the job. So yeah, that's how I started just playing around professionally with clothes. So then my job was now dressing up mannequins, making it look pretty, coming up with, new seasonal clothing comes out, and then I'm the one who's creating the look. So that's where that professional side came from.
That is so cool. Like it's always funny how unexpected these things kind of happen, right? Like you were just rocking up to work and then someone was
Minding
like,
my
"I dig your
business.
style." Yeah, yeah, literally minding your business. Growing up, like, you mentioned it was hard, like, I guess getting that buy-in, that support from your parents. Like, have you always been in Melbourne the whole time?
No, actually, I'm from Queensland. I'm a Queenslander.
Hey,
Queensland. Yeah, so I only moved to Melbourne about 4 or 5 years ago. So I'm a
okay.
Queenslander at heart. It was really sad when I had to change my driver's license to a Victorian one. I was like, "No, that's my last piece of identity," you know?
You know what? It's sad, but at least the Victorian ones go for 10 years. Like, I'm not having to worry about it for a long
Yeah.
time.
You're not wrong, but I miss that gold, the gold. I miss the gold.
Yeah, yeah.
Queensland license, but no, I'm a Queenslander and I only moved to Victoria, yeah, 4 or 5 years ago.
Whereabouts in Queensland?
Ah, Townsville. Don't dis
I don't know why you were so hesitant to say
A
that.
lot of people use Townsville and they're like, "Ugh," like, I don't know why we have a bad rep. Like, Townsville has a bad rep, I don't get it. It's a really nice place. It's very hot, but yeah.
It looks nice. A little bit too close to the equator for my liking. As you said, it's very hot. But yeah, I look, I grew up in Southeast Queensland and Brisbane
Mm.
and in like the south of Brisbane. I don't even
You
for
guys
anyone who's listening who's familiar with Brisbane, I grew up in Browns Plains. So Townsville, you're all right.
Yeah, it's better that because I was about to say if you grew up in Brisbane City, then, you guys think you're better than us, but you were like from,
From humble beginnings,
like what we would call whoop whoop. That's where you were from.
Yeah, 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 yeah. The sticks, the ghetto, for real. So yeah, like I guess going back to that, like growing up in Queensland and kind of discovering this, styling and fashion side of you. And like you said, it kind of comes from stemming from your mom and her making clothes for you guys. Was there a moment where like it shifted naturally where you were like, yeah, this is my calling?
I think there was one time that comes to mind where I was dressing one of my aunties. She asked me to take her shopping and we were like shopping and I put her in some outfits and then she was like, you know, I would have never put myself in these outfits. Like I would have just thought I can't pull it off or they're not like my body, whatever, whatever. And after talking for a bit, she was like, you should really do this. Like, not a lot of people know how to interpret clothes on bodies the way that you do. And I was like, you're my auntie. You're supposed to say that. And she was like, no, no, like, I really mean it. Like, you have a talent and a gift for this. And I think up until that day, I just thought everyone can do this. I thought, like, everyone can put clothes together. Like, I just maybe, just go the extra mile of thinking about this and that. But, like, everyone can do this. It's natural, but it was natural to me is what I didn't realize that. And then I think after that is when I was like, "Hmm, okay, maybe this could be a thing." But also in Townsville, there's not a lot of like, that creative market for it. So apart from working for Maya and YD and doing visual merchandising, there was really like nothing else that I could go into, or there wasn't really a path to go to. It's not a big creative industry. So it was really
Mm.
kind of like, yeah, there was no possibility of ever it becoming something that I would go into full time until I moved to Melbourne, which is one of the reasons I moved to Melbourne for more opportunity. But I actually moved as a property stylist and not a fashion stylist to Melbourne.
No way.
Yeah, because I had started doing property styling in Queensland, and then I thought there's bigger opportunity in Melbourne for styling in general, so I'm gonna go there. And yeah, I for the last 4 or 5 years, I've been working as a property stylist actually and doing fashion styling on the side before I decided to go into this full time.
That is so interesting. Like property styling. Uh, Granted, I didn't know maybe until a couple of years ago that this was even
A
like a
thing.
thing. I didn't realize. Yeah. So like tell me more about that.
So property styling, it's really a niche, like kind of career and job that every time I would tell people I do home staging, I do property styling, they're like, "What's that?" I'm like, the
Yeah.
only way I have to explain is, when you go into open houses or you go to view a house and it's been like decorated nicely and there's furniture and everything is like looks like it belongs in a magazine. That's what property stylists do. They pretty much make the homes look beautiful. So that was my job, was to see empty houses pretty much, come up with concepts, pick the furniture, pick the designs and yeah, furnish it and decor it and make it look pretty for the new potential buyers.
So you've clearly got an eye for like
Yeah.
style, for visual style,
Yeah, it just
essentially.
it just comes naturally. And I think honestly it's a God-given gift and the my path to getting here has just been um, feel like God has just like created opportunities because the visual merchandising came out of nowhere. The property styling job also came out of nowhere when I was in Queensland and I just started doing it. And everything has been self taught. Like I've taught myself on the job how to do things, but I've always just had a natural eye for anything visual, anything aesthetics. Like I used to have a small like grazing platter business. So anything that I can like create with my hands, I
Yeah.
that's where I'm at.
No, that is so cool. Like, yeah, you like to make things look and feel good.
Exactly. Aesthetics.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
No, I love that. So I want to talk about Ukholo now. So like what does that mean? And like, yeah, tell me the meaning behind the name and the idea behind the brand.
Ukala actually means faith. It's a Zulu name that I took inspiration from. And the meaning behind the name, obviously, it means faith, but my mom's name was Faith. And because of my story and where my love for fashion started from, I wanted to build something that also connected me to her and kind of paid homage to what she left me, which was a love for fashion and this gift that I have now. So that's what it means. And that's why I chose the name. I didn't want to call it Faith because, like, it just, I don't know, the English word didn't really hit. So
Yeah.
she's also Ndebele as well. So then I thought
Okay.
the Zulu Ndebele connection would be really cool. So I really liked the sound of Ukholo. I liked what it looked like. So that's why I chose that name.
That is so beautiful.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, like I said, it's such a beautiful tribute to your mom
Yeah.
and yeah, it felt right.
Yeah, it felt right, and it also was very much aligned to who I am. I am a woman of faith, and it just the word itself, I think even when I say it, it reminds me that I started this business out of faith, because of faith, my mother, and to keep having faith as I go on this journey.
And like when you think about the mission behind Ukholo, like, you know, what are you trying to help people experience?
So, what I'm trying to help people experience is confidence and identity. I think there is a big misconception out there that fashion is very surface level and fashion is very much like fashion, you're conceited or whatever it is. But I really do have a belief that fashion has a way of giving you confidence. When you know how to dress well, you can walk into each room confidently, and it is a sense of identity as well. I really am passionate, especially for our community, because living in Australia, we all know that when you walk into a room, before you even speak, people have already created a story about you. They've already made assumptions about you before you've even said anything. So, my purpose and what I really am passionate about is to help people look a certain way or to look like the version of themselves that they want to achieve. And then when they walk into whatever room they walk into, they can walk with that confidence of that version of themselves that they want to achieve. And that also helps, I guess, kind of diminish that barrier as well. That when people, have already made their mind up about you, it might be, your skin color, which is in most cases the way you're dressed, whatever, before you even speak. So if we can make you look good, then at least like part of that is taken away and you're able to, show up with confidence and impress them as a, you know, black person before you even say something and just kind of like combat, those
Yeah.
assumptions that people make about us. And I really think like, you know, Africans have fashion and we're very fashionable people. And I just want to show that to the world. But mostly and most importantly, I really think that fashion can help people gain confidence and have identity. And the fashion world right now really preys on our insecurities, on trends, and if you're not trendy, you're not cool, you're not whatever.
Mm.
And I have beef with trends personally because I think that trends strip you of an identity because you're trying to just keep up with the trend, and if you can't keep up, then you feel like you can't, you know, be cool or whatever it is that you think you will be if you're keeping up with the trend. But I want to teach people how to develop a fashion sense and a fashion style that you can carry on throughout the years that doesn't follow trends and that you can look at your wardrobe and you are inspired to dress your body.
Because I think like a lot of people think, styling and fashion is just about the clothes you wear. But what would you think? What would you say it's really about?
I think it's about how you present yourself. I honestly don't think it's about the clothes you wear, but how you put them together, how you present yourself, and that is the most important. And it doesn't matter if you're wearing something from Kmart or something from Gucci. You can have something expensive, doesn't mean you're like fashionable, you have style. But I really think it's about expressing yourself, having fun, and thinking of it. I think of my body as art, like a canvas. And clothes and fashion are a way for me to express myself every single day, to show the world, hey, this is how I'm showing up today. And this is how I decided to express myself. And when I walk out the door, I feel confident because like I put on something that is me, that is Martha, and that isn't like, copying trends or whatever else is going on out there. But I walk out confident because I put on something that makes me feel confident because I know my body. I've grown to know, what looks good on me, what doesn't work for me, the shape of my body, the colors that look good, all that stuff, which helps me feel confident when I put on the things that I put on every single day.
That is so true. Because like I imagine in this line of work, you meet people of all shapes and sizes and tastes and everything like that. So like when someone does come to you with that, search for support, like, what are they usually trying to, or what are they usually searching for underneath the surface?
So when people are just recently, I had a client and he is an app developer, or he's developed 2 apps, and they were writing a something about him, and he needed to send them a photo, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, like, all my photos." He knew the kinda guy he wanted to present as, but he just didn't know how to get there. And so when we talked, when we met, when I took him shopping, I watched him transform from a shy person, kinda like in his shell, to watching himself in these new clothes and be like and standing taller, being more confident, laughing, like, and he was like, if I walk into a room, like, I look like I know what I'm doing. I look like they'll take me seriously. Like they'll be like, yeah, he created that app. And I was just like, for me, that gives me joy watching people
Mm.
transform into who they actually think they are or who they want to be, and they don't know how to get there. So most people when they come and they're looking for a stylist, they might not realize it, but what I see is them looking for how to express themselves and how to express themselves in the new identity that they are actually building. Because, in the clothes that he was in before we got the new clothes, he was just, this guy who works in IT, might have created a couple of apps, whatever, to
Yeah.
wow, look at him. Like, he's stylish. He knows what he's doing. He looks like a man I can trust, and I can trust the app that he created. So just, I think people are looking for confidence and to be able to like walk into rooms and look like the version of themselves that they want to be in the future. And that's what I love
Yeah.
to see when people literally transform in front of my eyes as you put them in these things that they're like, wow, I can wear this. Oh my gosh, I feel so confident. And I would have never chosen this for myself. But like, yeah, you just watch them stand taller, and that makes it all worth it for me. And that brings me so much joy to be able to help somebody form a sense of identity and gain so much confidence just through clothes, just because of a couple of clothes.
And it can really be such a life-changing thing, and I hope your client doesn't hear this and feel offended, but as an IT dev, I bet you he was wearing blue jeans and a black t-shirt. Was that the uniform? That's that's what they wear. That's what we wear in tech. It's
Yeah.
fine. It's but, that's such a cool thing to be able to kind of witness that transformation in real time, like, but why do you think getting dressed can feel so vulnerable for people? Because, like, I definitely go through the same thing, like, sometimes hell, even putting on the right T-shirt for one of these podcast episodes sometimes just feels like a lot of work. But, like, yeah, what is that in your opinion?
What you just said is what a lot of my clients who I meet say. It's just a lot of work. It's a lot of
Yeah.
work. It's a lot of to think about. I don't wanna think about it, putting clothes together, putting an outfit together is a lot of work. It's exhausting. What I wanna take away is that barrier of, it's a lot of work, or thinking about fashion is a waste of time or a lot of work. But it is vulnerable because you have to be honest about where you are. You have to be honest about the body type that you have. You have to be honest about the colors that look good, what doesn't look, because not everything works for everybody. Not everything works for me and my friend who's a different size, who's taller, who's whatever. Like, we all have different bodies, and unless you learn like your body, you can't really accentuate like your body, right? So it's vulnerable because you have to be honest about, okay, so this is me. And so because this is me, how do I dress me to look like the best version of myself? And everyone can look like the best version of themselves. The problem is what they are selling us is this one thing that looks good on one person. And then now you feel guilty. You feel like you're ugly because you don't look good in that one thing that they're selling to all of us. And so
Mm.
that's why it is vulnerable, because you have to be honest. And that's where I come in, where I can help you find that honesty, but in the best way possible, so that now you know what to look at when you're shopping. Now you know what looks good on me. And most times, it's actually not a limitation on what you can't wear. It's an
Mm.
opening of the eyes of like, I can do so much more than I thought I could do, because the world puts so much limitation on what we can and can't do because of our shape, our color, our size, the height, whatever it is that we think are bad things about our bodies or our insecurities, but we can actually use them to our advantage.
You said something really key just before about, someone kind of just being honest with themselves about who they are, what works for them. How do you help someone find their personal style and find that, this is me without them having to feel like they need to become someone else?
I just ask questions. I get to know the person. I want to know the person who you are inside. I want to know what makes you feel happy. I want to know what inspires you. And from that, from conversation with people, and it's not like I'm even going in like, what do you like? What don't you like? Or whatever. It's just about connection and just natural conversing with people. I get to learn who you are. I get to learn your tendencies, what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy, your daily activities, where do you go here, you go there. Okay. So what kind of wardrobe would work best for somebody who enjoys doing this, who enjoys doing that, who really wants to be in these places, but they feel like they don't belong? So in conversation with people is where I can help guide somebody into and a sense of identity and where they should be going with their own personal style. And what I love about it is most times people kind of have an idea, they just don't know how to do it. And so my job is just to like be like, push you this way, push you that way,
Yeah.
let's guide you that way. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And then naturally they just start now opening their eyes and what like thinking, oh wow, like I can do this. I can do that. Actually, yeah, I can do this. And wow, this is who I am. And yes, I am confident and I am this kind of person and I can show up as this kind of person. And the more you feel confident because you've seen yourself as the person that you thought you could be, the more you can show up and start continue to feel confident because you have seen that version of yourself in the mirror looking back at you. You've seen it in real life and now you can actually show up as that person. And that's just that's the power of clothes. That's the power of the right kind of styling and somebody putting you in something that you would have never put yourself in. And just when you have limited yourself so much in your mind because we're so hard on ourselves and everyone puts themselves down.
Yeah.
We don't see ourselves how other people see us. So I'm there to be the other set of eyes to say, no, you actually have great hair. What works with your hair? No, you actually have really nice long legs. Let's work with that. Actually, no, your arms are not that. You don't have to be insecure about them. How can we work with that for you to feel comfortable and confident? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know you spoke about your client and you kind of saw that confidence shift in real time, but like, I wonder, do you have like a favorite moment with a client?
I think my favorite, it always happens with, most people, most clients that I have. My favorite moment is when they look in the mirror and the smile, like it's the kind of, because at first they're not sure. As a
Yeah.
stylist, sometimes you have to just back yourself because people they're not confident. They're like, what are you doing? And at first they're not
Yeah.
sure about what you've just put them in. So they're also like looking at you like, are you sure about this? And you're like, I'm sure about this. And then they keep looking at because they're rediscovering themselves, right? Because they've never seen themselves like this before. So it's that moment where they're like, they look in the mirror and then they're like, wow, this me? And you're like, that's you. And so it happens, different versions of that. When that happens is that's the moment that I'm like, there it is. This is what it's
Yeah.
all for. Whether it's, personal styling or a photo shoot with an artist or whatever it is, like it's always that moment of like, wow, like, yeah, this is me.
That's you, big dog.
That's all you.
Yeah, for real. Hey, tell me about the early days of starting the business. What's it like kind of starting a styling business? I know nothing about this industry, so I'm here to learn.
Most people don't. I also, um, starting a styling business, it is not easy. It is not easy. I feel like more than just any other business that, people know about or that's proven or whatever. Styling is one of those things where until you've experienced it, you don't know the value. And so half of the time is having to convince people of the value of styling because they're like, I can put myself in clothes. Like, what? You know? Um, but it's so like half the battle is convincing people that no, there is value in this. And once they've experienced it is when they go, I see now, because it's not just, putting the clothes together or whatever. I educate my clients throughout the whole process so that, you know, they get to a point where they might not need a stylist because now they have the education, they can dress themselves and they can pick things for themselves and they can be now their own stylist is my goal. So starting yeah, a styling business is not easy because it's a lot of, convincing people, but I think that there is a need for it. And especially in this day and age where everything is aesthetic, unfortunately, you are
Yeah.
judged by
Yeah.
what you look like before you even say anything. So I think when you wear, when you put the right thing on, that helps, that takes away 50% of you know, of the barrier when, walk into a room and for you to be actually be able to tell your story without people making assumptions just because of the way you're dressed. So
Mm.
it's hard, but it's worth it. And I think it's a business that is very much in the shadows. I think unless you're a celebrity stylist or like you're really famous, it's
Yeah.
it's a business that people, you know, don't really recognize or don't really think about, just like the property styling. You walk into a house and you don't think somebody did this, Just go, wow, this is so nice. And you don't,
Seriously.
there are people who were employed to actually come and put this together and do this whole thing. So that's what it feels, because it's not I think a lot of people think styling is very glamorous, but it's actually not as glamorous as you would think it is, but it's worthwhile for me.
Yeah.
Even in the hard days, even in the when you have to sell yourself. But, I think we are all the community is learning and we are growing.
I think like in this line of business that you're doing, and this is a very big assumption, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but like, yes, there's a level of vulnerability for the clients that you work with, but I think there's a level of vulnerability on your side as well, because like, how do you find the confidence to charge for your taste, your creativity, your expertise, especially in the fact that you're self-taught, very good at your job, but self-taught. So like, yeah, how do you find that confidence to be like, yeah, trust me?
I think having been a creative person for a while, from the visual merchandising to property styling, where I was now, training stylists who knew nothing to become actual
Mm,
stylists because I was now the head stylist, running teams, whatever. That has all taught me about having confidence in myself and having confidence in my products. And
yeah,
the one thing I always keep in the back of my head, like that I learned throughout this whole season, this whole journey, is that not everybody has to get it at the start, but once they experience me, they're going to get it. So I'm
yeah,
very confident in my expertise because I am an expert because I've been doing this for a minute. I'm not new to this. I might be new to the Melbourne industry or whatever it is, but I'm not new to my craft and I practice my craft every single day. So I think just having that confidence in yourself, that is 80% of the battle is having self-confidence and backing yourself up. And then just saying, you want more proof, just look at the work that I've done. And I really
yeah,
believe that I've been graced with a gift that, if you don't get it now, that's cool. But just come and experience it and you're gonna get it. You're gonna get why this is valuable. And it is hard to charge. It is hard to
yeah,
charge, but
yeah,
I'm surrounded by friends and people in my life who remind me of my value, who remind me of the transformative work that I do, not just for spaces in general, but for people as well. Which, if you if you don't remind yourself consistently and you don't have people who remind you, you can really get into the down of the dumps of like, man, like this sucks. People
yeah,
don't appreciate me. They don't appreciate the value that I bring. And people don't believe in my work, but you have to believe in yourself first. And when you are confident, people will have confidence in you, I believe.
sure, for sure. And like you said, it's hard to judge, especially in this community. And I'm gonna call out the black people right now
You
because
said it, not me.
some I said it and I'll say it twice. I'm gonna call them out. It's really hard. And because honestly, like even for me, like as a musician, the amount of times someone has come up to me and be like, "Oh, can you do this show? Can you do this gig? Can you do this whatever?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, here's the price." They're like, "Nah, this will be great for your exposure though." And I'm like, "Come on."
Not pay bills with exposure. Like, yeah, I think as much as we've come far with creativity in the African
Yeah,
community, but we still have so much further to go because it's that it's that monetary value now where people are like, I
yeah,
want you to dress me, I want you to play this show because they recognize your talent and your gift. But when it comes to now, give me my money. They're like,
yeah,
you, what do you mean? But I think it's something that we'll have to grow into as a community because, I think a lot of people think of, what we do as creatives as like, oh, a luxury, like, oh, like, is that your side hustle or something or a luxury or whatever? It's not a necessity. But no, we need creativity in this world. We need creativity. Otherwise,
yeah.
life is very bland.
Absolutely. With that in mind, like, what was a lesson that you had to learn quickly as an entrepreneur, as a business founder? What was a lesson you had to learn quickly that had nothing to do with fashion?
A lesson I had to learn quickly that had nothing to do with fashion was definitely business. Was definitely standing on 10 toes when it comes to
Yeah.
my bills and my invoices. And like charging your worth is very, very hard. Very, very hard. And it's a lot of work. I think a lot of people don't realize it's a lot of work. That you're just putting clothes together. Even when I did property style, just putting some cushions there, it's cool, whatever. But people don't think about the back, all the work before that, the work on the day, the continual, hey Martha, does this look good? What do you think about that's all the time like that's all you're using my knowledge and my gifting. So
Mhm.
it is a lot of work, a lot of mental work as well. So one thing I learned, and I'm so grateful for the people in my life who remind me of my value and that I need to charge what I'm worth.
Mm.
Otherwise, it's as a business. Business is business. It doesn't matter like if you're I feel like being nice to that person and whatever, if you don't charge your worth, the business is going to fail. And that's
Yeah.
another failed business for our community, and that's not okay. So, if we're
Yeah.
trying to build things for our community as African people in this country, we need to make sure that our businesses are successful at whatever it is that we are doing.
Mm. Mm. No, that's so true. That is so true. What would you think, and I think you did kind of touch on this a little bit, but what would you think people misunderstand the most about being a stylist, whether it's fashion or property or anything?
Yeah, like I said, it's the work that goes behind it. For example, if I'm styling somebody for a music video shoot, there's consultations that go like before that, ideally maybe a month before, but sometimes
Mm.
with the creative industry, artists would be like, I'm shooting in 2 weeks. And you're like, what? So now, that you can't even like count the hours because, the hours of, the Zoom meetings, the consultations, the planning, and you can't time creativity, right? So let's
Yeah.
say, okay, we've talked about this is the vibe we're going for, whatever. And now I have to come up with the outfits, the concepts, the whatever. It could take me 2 hours. It could take me a whole day or 2 days depending on the creative juices, how they're flowing,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the back and forth, the sourcing of the material, the items, the clothing, the fittings, making sure it fits well, traveling to and from shopping, making sure everything fits right before the day. So if it's 2 weeks before the shoot, this is every day going back and forth, working. And I like to create a lot of unique things for whatever it is that I'm doing. So whether I'm making you a hat or making you a necklace, making you whatever, because that's, you want to be unique. You want to give them something that's special to them. So all of those hours as well, thinking about it. I'm thinking about it 24/7, thinking,
Yeah,
does
yeah,
this work? Does that work? You're communicating with videographers, photographers, the makeup stylist, the whoever, because the look pretty much is up to me, right? Like I am the stylist. Even the makeup artist, I'm like, this is what we're going for. This is, I think, what we want with the outfits that we have, whatever. And during that time, I pretty much become the assistant to the artist or whoever it is, because you want to make sure that their project is successful. So whatever
yeah,
I'm doing, I'm giving 100%. And on the day, shoots can go from like 10, 12, 16 hours and you're on the go. And I don't switch off. Like I'm a very hands-on stylist. Like I don't put you in the clothes and I'm like, go forth and prosper. I'm on I'm I'm behind the videographer, making sure it's sitting right, it's conveying exactly what we want it to convey. Because once it's captured, it's captured. There's nothing we can do about it. Is your hair sitting
yeah,
right? So I'm working that whole time. So yeah, it's all that and more, all the planning, all the things that go before the actual, the fun stuff of like, oh, we're here today and we're
yeah.
shooting, whatever. So it's like hours and hours of work before that. And I think that's what people maybe don't think about when they're thinking about, what stylists do before the day. Because they just think, "Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you come to the day, we put on some clothes, we shoot some stuff. But it's work and preparation way before that so that we're successful on that day. And things
Yeah,
change.
it's deeper than that.
Things change on the day. Like, there's never a
Oh,
shoot where
yeah.
it's like, everything that we had planned went perfectly, like, things change. That outfit might not work anymore for that background that we had planned, or, the videographer is like, "I have a new idea. Can we have a 5th scene?" I didn't have 5 outfits. We had agreed on 4. Now I have to remix things to make a fit. So everything is just, there's that, okay, you have to change things on the go and be flexible and still be in great spirits, and
Yeah.
work under pressure to make things happen. So it's a lot of problem solving, and yeah, you got to make it happen. You got to make it happen. If I have to make a
For
shirt out
real.
of a dress on the day, let's do it.
It's that versatility, and I love that. I mean, like, because even looking at, like, your Instagram, you've done all this content around, like, personal styling and shopping. You've hosted your own workshop or workshops recently. Congratulations. And then obviously you've got like the interior styling stuff that you're doing as well. So like which part of all of this is your favorite? Which part brings you the most joy?
Oh, stop it right now. They
We ask hard questions on this show.
Oh my gosh, a favorite. I love okay, I can't. Okay, I have to pick, don't I? Like, I love different aspects of it for different things. Like, the interior side, the decor side, I really love it because it's me and the thing and my brain, and we're just creating. But the fashion side of it, it's people. I think I would choose the people side of it because that's where you see, like, decor doesn't talk back to me. Like, I'm like, "Yeah, that looks nice," but it doesn't go, "Yeah, I look nice." But I think what gives me the most amount of joy and where I walk out exhausted but feeling really, really fulfilled is the people, walking away from the people and having provided for them an incredible service where I watch them be transformed and they love the new version of themselves, or they love the outfits from the shoot or whatever it is. I think if somebody were like, pick now, if you're going to do one thing for the rest of your life, if you can't do both, I
Yeah.
think I would do the fashion styling just because of the people. Because I really have a passion for people to just be. I want everybody to be confident. I want everybody to have a sense of identity. And I think if, if everyone was confident and not as insecure as we all are, especially in this day of the internet and comparison, whatever, if everybody, you know, was confident in who they were, and if I could help bring out that confidence, yeah, I would do that for the rest of my life. I would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, on the other side, if you didn't have this, if you didn't have styling, if you didn't have fashion, what other creative outlets do you have, or other hustles or other interests? Who are you outside of Ukholo?
If I didn't have this, I think I would be doing I mean, I do, and I would be singing, I would be ministering, like, I do minister as well. So, at church, and I love worship, and maybe that's what I would be doing full time, but also dance. I used to teach, like, conga classes, very random side quest a couple years ago. So
Let's go.
it's so maybe that's what I would be doing. I don't know. I just think, yeah, I think it would still be something creative though, because
Yeah.
I've really tried. I really tried. Sorry, parents, sorry, aunties. I really tried to do the whole doctor thing, and, like, 'cause I studied psychology, pharmacy, and I was like, this is not for me. And I don't really like hospitals like that. I don't like germs. So I think it would still be very much in the creative, aspect side of things. Anything creative, whether maybe videography actually, because I really enjoy taking content of other people, not of me. I really hate being in front of the camera. So behind the camera though, I'll eat that up. Yeah. So I think that's what I would be doing. So it's still very much creative. Like, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
in my hobbies. So yeah, dance and singing. Yeah.
No, I love that. You said sorry parents before. But do you think your mom would be proud of you right now?
I think my mom would be proud. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think I think she would be proud to see me do something that I love, that I'm passionate about. I think she would be proud to see me following my dreams, and I think that she would just be proud to see me continue to pursue it, even in the hard times, even when you're like, "Oh my god, should I just give up and get a full-time job again?"
Yeah.
Um, but I think she would be very proud, and I think my family is proud. There was a time where, they were like, "What are you doing with your life?"
Yeah.
But I think the goal is just to pursue something you're passionate about, and they'll come around. As long as you make something
Yeah.
of yourself, they'll come around and they'll realize that's why they made the sacrifice to move, to these countries so that we could have more opportunities like this to actually, go for our passions, go for the God-given talents that we have. And I'm
Yeah.
passionate about getting paid to do something that you're naturally good at.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I always say to people, if you do nothing else in life, do something you love,
Mm.
right? So like, yeah,
Yeah,
you're absolutely on the money there.
it's worth it.
I guess my next question is, are you proud of yourself? Are you proud of where you are right now and the journey?
So if my friends, if we hadn't last week we had this conversation because it was my birthday. Happy birthday to me. But
Happy
um,
birthday.
thank you. But my friends were just reminding me what a big deal it is to start a business and to be
Yeah.
out there. And I think as a perfectionist, as somebody who's very hard on themselves, I sit there and I'm like, "Ugh, I haven't achieved this, or I haven't, this is what, I've been doing this for however long." And it's, but it actually hasn't been that long since I decided to do this full time and really back myself. So I am proud of starting. I am proud of putting myself out there. The internet is a very scary thing.
Yeah.
Approaching people
Yep.
is a very scary thing, and I think I'm proud that I pushed myself to not stay in my career where I was, which was very safe. I still loved what I was doing. So I was doing property styling, and, I was doing great things and I was loving it. It was great. But I think if I looked back, I think I would have been like, you could have done more. You could have done more for yourself. And I've always had this dream to have my name written down on a building somewhere and to leave something
Yeah.
for our community and our children. And yeah, there's many plans, but I think I'm proud of where I am today. And I'm proud of what I'm
Yeah.
doing. Yeah.
Yeah. And you should be. You absolutely should be. If you don't mind me asking, how you just had your birthday, how old did you turn?
You can't ask a lady,
You
"Hey,
look,
how?"
you can't, but sometimes I want to uplift and uphold you young black business moguls in the making, and I want people to know. I want people to know who's gonna make the 30 under 30, you know what I mean?
Ooh, like, okay, now you just said that. I'm not as young as I look, is what I'll say.
Okay.
I'm not as I whatever age you're thinking, yeah, I'm not as young as I look. I've been through life and I've done a lot. So just think about that. And I won't put a number
Mhm.
to it, but I'm definitely not as young as I look.
Okay. Well, as they say, black don't crack, y'all.
It's
So maybe we're talking Forbes 40 under 40, but like,
that
yeah,
part.
I think, yeah,
Yeah, let's go
I
there. Let's
definitely
go
think
there.
no, I definitely think you got some great things ahead of you.
Mm.
But I'm keen to understand, like, what's next for you? What's next for the brand? What's next?
So we've got a lot of some, a few things planned. Ukholo is not just fashion styling business. When I had, the vision for it, obviously start fashion styling is what I'm really driving and pushing right now, but it is going to be a household brand. So events and also interior styling is on the books for that. So it's just gonna be a one-stop shop. Whatever you need, styling wise, Ukala can do it for you. So that's the big goal. That's the vision for this to have styling, events, and interiors as the three different sectors of Ukala. And
Yeah.
yeah, running after that and hopefully employing a bunch of, young men and women from our community who want to be creative or want to go into the creative industry and didn't know that this is an avenue they could go into because this is not really like property styling is not really taught in schools and fashion styling like nobody pushes it especially for our community but I want it to be a starting ground for somebody and yeah look forward to more master classes and I'm dreaming and working on something that could be very, very exciting, very, very exciting,
Okay.
which yeah, will hopefully come out soon. So working on some proposals, and I think this project that I'm working on will really make a big impact on our community. So I'm really looking forward. We've got big dreams.
Let's go.
Mm,
Let's go.
yeah.
We love a teaser on this show. A lot of people be dropping teasers. We love a teaser. So like, yeah, no, I'm excited to see what the future has in store for you. That's for sure. Martha, it's been so good to talk to you. Thank you so much for
Thank you
coming
so
on the
much
show.
for the invite, and thank you so much for making this a very comfortable space. I actually don't like speaking, like, in front of people, or
Well,
I
hey,
don't know if y'all could tell, but a girl, she can sing in front of crowds, but speaking, yikes. So thank you very much for making a very, very comfortable space. So
yeah, of course. I mean, look at that. We've almost been doing it for an hour.
yeah,
So
I
like, yeah,
didn't even
you're a
realize. I looked at
natural.
the timer before and I was like, "Oh, we've been speaking for that long." I think just giving you your flowers, I think it's kudos to you and what you're doing. And you're a very, very good host that you made me feel comfortable to open up and, speak to you for this long. And yeah, I'm like, if I hadn't looked at the time, I'd have been like, this is nice. It felt like it's been like 15 minutes. So I think that's incredible that you have the ability to do that.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I really do. But it ain't about me. It's about you. So before we wrap things up, as always on the show, we have our three signature rapid fire questions. So I'm going to ask you three questions. I don't even think about them. I always tell people don't think about it, and then they do. But don't even think about it. And just, yeah, first thing that comes to your mind. You ready?
I hope so.
Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. Martha, what is something that you would do again?
Something I would do again. Ah, that's crazy. This is not as rapid as you wanted it to be, huh? Um, wow. fall in love. Yeah. That's something I would do
That's
again.
fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. What is something you would never do again?
I'm gonna say fall in love, but we can't do that. We can't do that. Something I would never do again. I would never underestimate myself again. I think I would never take as much time as I did to actually believe in myself and start my own thing. Yeah, that's something I would never do again. So not underestimate myself and not believe in
100%.
myself. Yeah.
100%. But yeah, always got to believe in yourself. And the last question is, what is one piece of advice you wish someone gave you at the start of your journey?
I think one piece, if I were to give myself advice at the beginning, advice I wish I had been given, I would say that I wish somebody had told me at the beginning that the journey wouldn't be as easy or as straight as I imagined it to be. So sometimes I very much live in Delulu land, like I'm gonna do this and it's gonna be whatever. But there's definitely challenges that come with it. And I think I wish somebody had told me that your mind is going to be the biggest challenge. Like whatever comes your way, your mind is the biggest challenge. And if your mind loses, then you've lost the battle. That's
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
would say. I would say I wish I had known that before having to go through it and teach myself.
Of course. Of course. No, Martha, I'll stop harassing you with questions now. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Tell the people where they can find you, where it is online. Tell them what it is, where it is.
So on Instagram, it's Ukholo.styling. You can find us on Instagram. We've got the interior and events page as well. You can find them from there. The content will be coming soon. On TikTok, it's just Martha's life. And I've just put it all together. And yeah, that's where you can find me.
Let's go. And as always, we'll put all of the information in the description. So make sure to check out Ukholo and all the great work that Martha is doing. Ladies and gentlemen, she's a singer, she's a dancer, she's a stylist, she's an interior stylist. And if you've just learned what that is, welcome to the show. But no, thank you guys. It's been another great episode of Before We Take Off. My name's Mufaro. This is Martha. You're all wonderful. Martha, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
You know what? We gonna, we about to, we about to take off. Yeah, you know what? We about to, we about to take off.